Morgan Rogers to Liverpool. Is that something that would interest Liverpool fans? Guys, let me know in the comment section. Do you want to see Morgan Rogers at Liverpool next season? Apparently, big up Indy because clearly this guy has now become that reputable source. He says apparently in the Harvey Elliott deal to Aston Villa for 35 million. Obviously it's a loan, and then if he appears 10 times for Aston Villa, they then trigger that 35 million pounds bid. Will have direct effects on negotiations for Morgan Rogers to LFC in the coming months. Liverpool are big admirers of the player. This info has come from the corridors of Liverpool Football Club. Now, pretty annoyed, by the way, just because I've recorded this video literally just before this, just to find out that the sound was not working. If this doesn't work now, then I don't care about this video. So let's hope it's working. But yeah, I think Morgan Rogers, decent player, very, very decent player. And I think obviously moving to Aston Villa from Middlesbrough, I think at Middlesbrough, you could tell, yeah, this is a very good young player. Didn't know how good he was going to be, especially, playing under Unai Emery as well. It's very structure, oriented over there at Aston Villa, and especially because of the type of manager that Unai Emery actually is. Didn't know how it was going to work, and I didn't know if he was going to be allowed the freedom to express himself. Now, at times he has played, of course, he plays on the wing, he could play attacking midfield, play all across the front, up front as well. So he's played various different positions. He's done different kinds of roles. He's had that free role in, the number 10, as we would call it. He's played off that left-hand side, and he's done left-hand side from what I've seen and remembered. He's done it kind of like in two different ways. So he's done the Eze way, which is the only way I can probably describe it, which is you're a left winger, but you're more, you move in central quite a lot, and they're looking for the width of their fullbacks or wingbacks or whatever it is. And he's done the normal winger role where, he's got to get back, track back, be that kind of defensive winger, so to speak. And then, of course, if you can, spring yourself forward and, create something further forward for the attackers or for yourself, then, go ahead and do that. So, yeah, I think the different kinds of qualities that he obviously brings, to the team in a general sense, I think that could maybe be something that Liverpool maybe look at. Obviously letting Harvey Elliott go, but again, you let someone like Harvey Elliott go because he's not really playing, and I don't really feel like there was a need for him anyway in terms of the positions that he can play. I look at Morgan Rogers, and obviously this is his heat map from this season. Again, appeared on that left-hand side and attacking midfield. This is what it looked like for Morgan Rogers last season. Kind of looks like it's quite right-hand side-ish, but you can see he's everywhere, absolutely everywhere. Played, 37 games in the Premier League, started anyway, 37 games in the Premier League last season. So it's quite a robust, character. And, this is the stats from last season. Absolutely brilliant season, from him, 54 games, 30 GA. Absolutely, that's brilliant. To me, I can't think of why that wouldn't be something that, someone would look at. And especially when we're so number oriented and we're so number focused in this kind of day and age, I look at that and I think, some of your favorite players are not touching these kind of numbers, and they're probably playing the same amount of games. So yeah, if he's able to do that, both, playing in the Champions League, playing in the Premier League, so your FA Cup, League Cup, there's a lot of competitions that, you've got to kind of fill in. And when we're looking at someone like Rogers and you're looking at his play style, as you guys can obviously see here, to really understand Rogers' style, you should watch him play live. He runs quickly and changes direction well, making it hard for defenders to stop him. Now, just on that line there, that's something that we've heard from Arne Slot before in terms of kind of players that he likes. He likes players who can change direction relatively quickly. Does Rogers obviously fit into that mold? Well, clearly he does. His high success rates in dribbling and taking on opponents prove this. One of Rogers' best skills is his ability to adjust his style of play. He usually plays on that left-hand side, as we've seen, but he can also move into the middle to control the game. This keeps other teams guessing, and it helps him connect well with his teammates. And yeah, as I said before, you can see here in terms of the kind of carries that he's obviously had from last season, and you can see the kind of focus, I guess, would say you kind of say, yeah, from that left-hand side, then coming in to those kind of central areas. He's obviously done it from the right-hand side, as well at times. Long progressive carries. Again, he does move more centrally into this area. So again, is that something that Arne Slot is potentially looking at? Is that something that he feels he needs? And I'm asking you guys as fans, obviously we're not the manager. We can only guess as to, what someone like Arne Slot would want from his team by, the games that Liverpool are playing. Is that something that you feel that we need? I'm not 100% convinced unless we've got players leaving next season. And I don't know who would have to leave in order for me to think, okay, there's a space for Morgan Rogers. Obviously, he plays on that left-hand side as a left winger. But I don't know if that's the kind of. It's a tricky one. It's a tricky one. I like obviously I've spoken to people about like the kind of player profiles that people think that Liverpool obviously need going forward. So when we're talking about players, you know, you're kind of trying to match the profile to the player and stuff like that. And you know, quite a few people mentioned about running in behind and stuff. I don't think Liverpool are going that way. I do think Liverpool are trying to move to an era of ball to feet players. You can see it already in terms of the attack. None of the attack are players that I look at and think they're going to run in behind that much kind of thing. They all want ball to Ekatike. He wants ball to feet. He's quick, but he wants ball to feet. And he's not really that quick, to be fair. I reckon he'd get outpaced by quite a lot of defenders. But yeah, he wants ball to feet. He wants to, you know, feel the ball. He wants to touch it, roll it underneath his foot and all of this fancy stuff. Isak maybe more so, been in the league a couple of seasons and stuff like that. So maybe he's more accustomed playing under Eddie Howe. So he can do it. But again, Isak, ball to feet, skilled man, you know, quick touch shoot. There's really not much else kind of going on. Salah, as we know, can't really run in behind like that. Gakpo, maybe kind of. Chiesa, no. Yeah, Rio, definitely not. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we've not really got those players anyway. So it does look like that we are kind of trying to turn into that, okay, we want these kind of players. And again, I keep telling people, it's the same way PSG look at things. I'll be honest, it's the exact same way. You know, you look at PSG's forward line in terms of Dembele, Kvaratskhelia, Doué. Only really they've got one player, and that is Barcola. I think he'd be the one player that you look at and think, because he's probably the fastest player that they've got in their forward line, you naturally would just use that pace, you know, to try and get him behind, to play a different kind of game, let him be the runner. So maybe we might have one of those, but I don't look at Rodgers as one of those kind of players. I do look at him as a player. He wants the ball to feet, and it looks like he wants to travel in those central areas more often than not. Whether that then means, you know, that might hamper, you know, someone like a Florian Wirtz and things like that, I don't really know. So again, I mean, I look at the stats and things like that. I mean, I'm not too bothered about stats like that. It don't really bother me unless there's something that like really stands out. Like, oh my God, like he does that every game, like, you know, kind of thing. I mean, carries into final third, he does 1.81. Doesn't really put him in a high percentile. Carries into penalty area again, he's very low. Carries in general, he's extremely low. So you know, again, things can easily change, as we always know with football. A year, come the end of the season, all of a sudden Rodgers looks like, you know, the perfect player, and, you know, all of these kind of various different things. As I mentioned before, he's someone who is very, very versatile. The main thing for me is he is just a very strong runner. Are you then thinking potentially to change his position, you know, under Arne Slot at Liverpool? Again, I'm not convinced, and I wouldn't be happy with Liverpool going out unless we're getting rid of more midfielders, for example. So you get rid of Bajcetic, you get rid of, I don't know, McAllister, you get rid of someone else. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you're getting rid and it's more about the bodies and he offers something different, then yeah, because then I think, well, he's a player who can play in midfield, I guess. But then again, Liverpool play with a 2 double pivot. So do you know what I'm saying? There's too many questions. Like, I've not even, you know what I mean? This is me just thinking off the top, and there seems to be more questions than answers with a player like Morgan Rogers. And again, like I said, I still think he's a good player. So it's nothing to do with his ability and anything like that. Just think that we don't really work for him at this moment in time. I cannot see it. Manager, he gets paid the tens of millions of pounds a year, so he clearly can potentially see something. I just don't see it at the moment, and I'd be very intrigued to see, if we were to go in for someone like him, what does that look like? Where does he play? What position are you kind of looking at? Because really and truly, he's not a double pivot player. I'm not saying that he could never do it in his life, but I mean, you can look here. This is what I think his whole career, give or take. Yeah, no, this is from last season, I think. Yeah, last season. Yeah, from the 24-25 season, should I say, sorry. At no time did he play in midfield. Do you know what I mean? So it's like attacking midfield, obviously, if you count that. Left wing, right wing, support striker. I mean, it says left mid and right mid. I don't know what that must be, wing back or something. But yeah, do you know what I mean? It's like he's not playing central midfield, because that's just not really his kind of position. And now we're playing with more deeper, almost just 2 6s. So are we going to put him in there? Well, no, I don't think so. So I feel like he's going to have to play probably on the wing. Now, maybe in terms of what he brings, maybe that might be an option. But yeah, I don't know. I'm unconvinced. Now, people in the chat and stuff like that, in the comment section, let me know. Let me know, because there could just be something I'm missing in a general sense when it does come to someone like Morgan Rogers. So there could be, no, he can play this position, and when he does that, he can. But right now, I cannot see it, and I think he's a very good player. He's got very good attributes, and I think he could go to different types of teams. Just can't see it with Liverpool at the moment, unless they're changing the way that they're potentially trying to do things. But let me know, people. Let me know in the comment section, in the chat. Morgan Rogers to Liverpool. Would you guys be happy with that? Do you think he's the type of player that we need here at the football club? If so, in what capacity? If not, why not? Let me know. Catch you guys soon.